Good afternoon, folks, and thanks for joining us. Welcome to Kicking It with Tim and the Mechanic. I am Tim, joined as always by the mechanic, Brandon Cuttino. Brandon, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing good, man. Ready to talk some kickboxing with you. I know we got a lot to talk about.
Man, it's been quite a few weeks from Glory Rivals 1 being canceled. We're going to talk Glory 80 Studio. We're going to talk Infusion, and then we're going to preview the upcoming 157 Grand Prix and their 2 Muay Thai championship fights. But let's start with it. Glory Rivals 1. I don't know how to sink my teeth into this. Where do we even start with this one, man? Like, bring us up to date here. It was a Glory versus Infusion. The event gets canceled by the ticket holder. We're not really told anything for a few more days. No one issues an official statement. It then comes out of this is being investigated by Belgian tax authorities. And then Glory and Infusion both go, it was never even our event. It was the local, AFO, right?
Yeah. That's one of the things that kind of threw me off right, like I said, I knew it was a Glory, like the show's called Glory Rivals. Yes. But I think if you really look at the whole card, it was mostly Infusion fighters, because I think the main, like the prelims, you want to call it, was all Infusion fighters. And then just the main card was where you had your Glory, Infusion crossover. So in reality, I think it really was Infusion was the one running the show. Just Glory just kind of maybe gave you 1 or 2 fighters and kind of just put their name on it just to kind of get more exposure. So that's how I kind of thought. Then when this whole thing went down, and then as I'm kind of reading it, it's saying how the ticket company is canceling the event. So then in my head, I'm like, well, okay, so that's the ticket company. So is that just saying that you just can't get your tickets to those people, but the building, you can still have the show there, but maybe you just gotta, sell the tickets a different way. Like, yo, people just come to the door and we'll just sell you tickets that way, or we try to find somebody else to sell it, But then you get the whole fraud allegations, I guess, is coming out, so it's being investigated. So that's when I'm just like, all right, I guess the whole thing is, is being canceled. So that was just my thing. Where I was like, well, if it's the ticket company, then does that mean that you can just maybe get your tickets somewhere else, since they're the ones that's saying, oh, the show is canceled? But nobody's coming out and saying anything.
There was no, yeah, exactly. There was no details from One or Infusion when it was canceled. All we knew is that the ticket company had canceled the event. Nothing else was said for a few more days, right?
Yeah, until Glory came out, and they had their statement, which I have thanks to you and your awesome writing.
Well, man, so I had asked Glory, so you're like, this has been canceled, can I get a statement? And they said, no, that's not really our event. So they immediately were distancing themselves from the Rivals event, because I think they must have known some inside information as to why it was canceled. It would be a big surprise if they didn't. But yeah, they distanced themselves as fast as possible. And they came out with the statement and said, it's been canceled due to these reasons, and that's not really our event. But I think, like you said, the Infusion name has mainly been used kind of as a franchise, that if you're hosting kickboxing in Europe, you can use the Infusion name and they might throw a fighter or 2 on it. I think Glory is kind of doing that similar thing with Rivals, where if you guys want to throw the Glory name on your card, we'll call it Glory Rivals and we can get, a bunch of fighters on. But yeah, it doesn't sound like it was really their event from the sounds of things. And that's what their statement was basically saying, is this, we are fully compliant. This isn't even our event, really.
Well, because I know, because I feel like they're doing something that, I want to say that Glory is known for doing this, and even stateside, because like I said, the article that said that, we are disappointed by circumstances surrounding Glory Rivals 1, an event scheduled for, the 24th in May, promoted by Infusion and organized by its local Belgium partner, AFO. Glory is not involved in any way with the organization of this event, nor do we have any link to local AFO promoter / license. Which I know Glory, when they came to New York, or the New Jersey area, they would actually get a local promoter to help get events. Like, for instance, when they would come, they would use the promoter Lou Neglia, which is known for MMA, for the Ring of Combat shows, but he also does a lot of kickboxing shows. That's how I kind of got involved in doing Glow shows, because I have fought for Lou Neglia. So every time you would go, he would be there, because he had a couple of maybe his fighters, couple of local guys, that can, be on the card in the prelims, you know. So it's like I said, so the local promoter is helping you with that undercard, which is what I believe all kind of like promoters do as well, you know, like Matchbox, PBC, all that stuff. When they go to other areas, you know, even like you think of the one that they just had the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight. I want to say though, even though Matchroom was the big promotion and so was Jake Paul. Also too, I want to say that Lou DeBella was also on there too, because he's a local New York guy, so he probably helping you with that. You know, he's probably helping you with that undercard, helping you with that promotion and everything like that. So, I mean, I kind of, when I just saw that, I guess I just put two and two together. But as I was just reading that, I was like, oh well, like this is something that I want to say all promoters do, but I think people are kind of just making a big deal because it's Glory, and they just think that, you know, it should be maybe a bigger thing.
Well, yeah, you bring up a really good point here of is this kind of an exception or is this the norm? But what I mean is using a local promoter, but it sounds like this is quite normal. This is very standard practice that they would mainly use a local promoter and, you know, kind of just use their name vaguely. But that's a very normal thing for Glory to do. Right, correct?
Yeah. That's what I mean, like I said, I just know from my dealings being them in local, like I said, I don't know what they were doing in Florida when they go over, if they go out to California. You know, I don't know, but like usually though, I want to say this is what they do. Promoters do to me when they go to other places, like to help you with the local fighters, because you get the local fighters, they get their fans, and that's how you can kind of sell tickets that way, you know. And then you have your big marquee names, you know, and everything like that.
Yeah. Okay, but that's really good to know then, because you never know if this is like exceptional. It's not. This is fairly normal. This is fairly par for the course. Glory had nothing to do with it. It sucks because Glory can't get away from this kind of news.
Yeah.
It's their name on it, all that stuff. They actually had nothing to do with it. They are completely not at fault for this. They're going to take most of the blame for it. Infusion's probably not going to take much blame. AFO, I mean, no one really knew who they were anyway, but Glory will take a huge bunch of the blame for something they really had minimal to no part in, correct?
Yeah, so that's why I guess I was wondering, like, man, I guess like it was such short notice, like if they were trying to maybe move it to a different, you know, a different location or anything like that, you know, because you would think that Infusion would have the, I guess, you know, the connections to maybe they can move it to somewhere else. But like I said, I guess, you know, they were doing it in Belgium, so to kind of say, hey, let's go from Belgium to say, you know, the Netherlands again or something like that might be too much. So that's why maybe they'll try to come back to Belgium, or to me, maybe you just got to use a different local promoter, or you just don't use them and you just promote it yourselves.
Well, yeah, and you know, and the local promoter, the AFO, Antwerp Fight Organization, are being investigated for potential tax fraud or potential money laundering due to connections to organized crime in fight sports. It's pretty par for the course, honestly. Like my small town had a fight organization there, and the police showed up just to investigate things. Like it's a fairly, I don't want to say like, oh, it's fine, but it's very normal.
Yeah,
that's not the weird thing. That's not a weird thing at all that organized crime might be involved with combat sports. That's normal there. But yeah, so let's move on to some fun news, some better news. Glory 80 Studio. So if you bought Glory 80, you got this event for free, and for the 3 fights that were scheduled on it, it was a ton of fun. It was a good, solid, efficient 1 hour block of fights, and it was the same venue that was Infusion 106 hosted a couple hours later.
Yep.
Where do you want to start? Should we start right from the bottom? Your boy?
Yeah.
You were correct.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I want to say kudos to Glory, man. Amazing pacing, 3 fights in 1 hour. That's what you want, baby. That's what you want. Let it fly out, no hesitation or anything like that. Yeah, man, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Actually, I want to touch on that. I booked off 3 hours because I thought, oh, they're gonna load it up with ads. They're gonna have a bunch of other stuff. They're gonna have so many trailers. Nope, just 1 hour of fights. We're in, we're out. Love it. Thank you. I can go on with the rest of my day now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, yeah, like I said, that's just what we want. But also too, just another thing, man. I mean, is this kind of go off to the side? Like I know they said like, oh, they would have like nobody was gonna be in there, but then you look at the crowd, you see these random people. Like, yo, who are these people?
Who are these folks? Were they family or were they like friends of the promoter?
I don't know. Like that's what my head, like in my head, I was like, oh, like are these just like Infusion staff just hanging around? You know, because because they're going to be there later on in the day. But yeah, it's like you just see a bunch of people just chilling there at the tables, up up in the stands. But yeah, that was something. I was like, oh, I thought it was supposed to be a closed event. Who are these folks?
There were a handful of people in the audience there. I asked about it too because I said, if I were around, can I get press credentials? And they said, no, we're not having press at the event. It is an actually very much closed event, and there was people there.
Yeah.
Kevin Tariq Ozaro really dominated this fight. This was a heavyweight match at Glory 80 Studio. I don't think Reese had many openings, or he didn't show many good shades in this fight, because Ozaro just showed better footwork. He showed better timing. He controlled the fight from start to finish. He had control of the center, and then he got a TKO finish in round 3. I don't have much to say other than clearly Kevin is a better kickboxer, and he absolutely showed it through and through. What do you think of the matchup?
Yeah, man, it was a good fight. Like I say, the first round, I want to say, like, I think they both were making their Glory debut. So like I said, I think they had the Glory jitters. Also too, man, there's really no crowd, so you're the first fight of the night. So like I said, the first round was kind of a little sloppy. I think even the commentary team had even said that. But then I think though, like, once the first round was over, they kind of got a little more calm, and then that's when Ozario just took over, man. He was just total domination in the second round. Because I want to say he did get a knockdown in the second round as well, and then in the third round, man, he just took care of business.
Yeah, and it was a highlight reel knockout finish. It looked great, and he looked like a world-class kickboxer. So really looking forward to who's next, who's going to face.
Yeah. Same, man. Mike's gym. That's where he's from. Because I remember when we were talking about this fight, I was like, this guy's coming from Mike's gym. He will be well prepared, and he definitely was.
I think for Reese, because I spoke to him before the fight, and he said, like, we're out of fights in the UK. I fought all the heavyweight kickboxers in the UK, and most of his fights are 30 seconds. He finishes them in the first round. I think that was the first time that he's ever faced it. That's a step up for him. Like, that was the first time. I think he was surprised by, like, oh, this is a major step up. This guy is super good. And Ozaro training with Mike's gym, they showed, like, he's a world-class kickboxer. He is that good.
Yep.
Yeah, really looking forward to the future.
Yeah, man. Heavyweights were definitely on display. Especially going to the next fight.
And well, look at that segue. What a absolute professional. Antonio Plazabot gets it done again, but really struggles kind of getting there. Like, so Antonio Plazabot knocks out Tariq for the second time. Antonio Plazabot did very well in the first round. Really, like, was just a punching bag for a lot of the second round, and then got a blistering, oh man, he slaughtered Tariq in the third round. What did you think of the matchup? Am I off here?
Yeah, no, like, I mean, like I told you this before, man, when this fight was announced, I was like, why is this fight happening? You guys already fought, and it wasn't like you guys just fought, like, 2-3 years ago. It was like, no, you guys fought like maybe 6 months ago. Yeah. It was like, why is this happening? But then, like I said, hey man, maybe these guys are just like, yo, I need a paycheck. Let me get paid. Even though Tank is a firefighter when he's not fighting, so I mean, I think he does have a regular job. So, but who knows, man? Like I said, man, they put him together. They said, hey, why not? I mean, Tank, I understand because he wants to avenge that loss. But Plazabot's like, bro, you're number one. What do you need to take this fight for? But like I said, maybe just for him, he wants to stay busy. Maybe like I said, everybody else, just was, they weren't available. They weren't able to fight or anything like that. So he was the only one. So he took it. Like I said, man, I think maybe Plazabot just kind of thought he was gonna come in, steamroll, Tank again. It just didn't go that way. And like I say, Tank, he made his changes, but hey, man, he still got caught third round. It was a repeat of like the first fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It was absolute repeat. I think you're right about that. That on Plazabot, he didn't have anything booked. And, they offered him the fight, and he absolutely took it. Good for him. Tariq this is the second, because he was supposed to face Luis Tavares originally at some point. So, yeah, he was scheduled already, but good for them for taking the fight. Might as well fill up the card. It was a fun fight as well. But, yeah, Plazabot called out Rico Verhoeven after the fight. I don't want to talk about that fight yet, but does it happen? Plazabot is the next contender.
He is, but the thing is, like, man, we don't know what is next for Rico with his eye injury still from JBS fight.
Yeah.
You know, we really don't know. Like I said, we know he's supposed to do his thing in October, but he probably said that's probably gonna be the only fight he does. So I mean, who knows? I mean, we want it, like us as kickboxing fans, as Glory fans, that's the fight we want it to be. But I mean, we don't know what Glory's thinking. We don't know what Rico's thinking. You know, like I said, Alistair Overeem is still waiting in the wings. For his fight with Rico that was supposed to happen. So I mean, it might not happen this year, but it maybe could happen next year.
Man, the thing is the worry that Alistair Overeem, I think he said that he wants to fight this year in Glory. Like I think he said I'll be ready in September or some October, November. I forget what he said exactly. You can't put Overeem against any of these heavyweights and then have him against Rico, because I don't think Alistair at his current age, with what shape he's in, like if you did a Plazabot versus Overeem, Overeem doesn't win that fight. I wouldn't pick Overeem against most fighters. Maybe a trilogy against Badr, but I'd still probably pick Badr in that fight, honestly. But like, hopefully we see Overeem fight this year, but I don't want to be sad.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I know Rico said that, hey, you know, I think he wants to do his show in October, and he said maybe that could be it. But who knows, man? He could maybe have a quick fight in October, and he could be fresh. Because in my mind, I still always think that I feel like Glory, I think except for maybe last year, or it could have been 2020 with the pandemic and everything, where they usually always try to do their big show in December. They try to have their, you know, that's usually where their collisions have been, or their redemption pay-per-views and everything like that. So I could see maybe Rico has a quick fight in October, and they try to set up for December. All right, Overeem, Rico, December, let's do it. Let's try to end the year on a bang, because that's usually what they always try to do it in December, because December is usually when the Rico and Badr fights would happen, you know, all their pay-per-views and everything like that. So that's what I'm thinking could happen. But hey, like I said, I'm not in the office. I don't know what's going on with them.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, we'll see what they do. There's not a lot of bad matchups. Like whoever you pair up, the heavyweight division is really good. Whoever you pair up, we're gonna be satisfied with, honestly.
Yeah. And then just one more thing before we move on, because somebody had brought this up, and I just kind of want to know your opinion on it. You know, with Tarek, or Tank, you know, that's his nickname. Tell me, do you think he should drop down to light heavyweight?
Yeah, because it not only he is clearly undersized. Like I know that he did well against Rigters and won. But
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, in that fight, I didn't think he won, but hey, I'm not a judge.
No, but like we've seen him against Rico, we've seen him against a lot of heavyweights where he is doing well against heavyweights that are bigger than him for moments, for stuff here and there. He is a really good kickboxer, but he just gets sized on. He absolutely, like, he's not as strong as these guys. He's not as big as these guys. I think dropping down to light heavyweight is a good idea because it'll work better for him. But also, I think it's a thinner weight class where heavyweight is extremely competitive. There's a lot of really good fighters at heavyweight. He could be a force at light heavyweight, I think. But what do you think, though?
Yeah, no, I do think about, like you said, like I think he is kind of like say he is outsized, like I mean, so these dudes are being like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" out here. You know, he's not that tall. So like I said, you know, if he can make the weight, because I think somebody was trying to say, I think for him it's only like, I think it was like 7 kilos he would have to lose.
That's not huge.
Yeah, exactly. I think I said they broke it down for his weight. So I mean, like, yo, if he could do it, why not, man? Like. And like you said, light heavyweight is kind of thin. All you have is really the champ Vahitov, and then you got just basically Luis Tavares, and then who else? You know, it's like,
I don't want to be rude, but yeah, I know that's it.
Exactly. You can go down there, you know, get yourself maybe 1 W, and then boom, you know, you could be the next title contender.
Let's take a quick look at light heavyweight. Make sure we're not forgetting someone kind of very obvious, because those were the two I thought of right away as well, and I couldn't think of anyone else. Felipe Mikaliti, Sergey Masloboyev is quite good. Ariel Mikado, Donegi Abina, Michael Dut. Yeah, no, he would be a force in this weight class. Like you said, those two big names. I do like Sergey Masloboyev as well, but man, he would be a force here, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I forgot about Machado. I'm like, yo, does Machado even still fight?
The thing is, so this is the problem with a lot of Glory fighters, and it's not their fault that Glory. There wasn't that many fights over the pandemic. It's not their fault that they haven't fought. Most of them haven't fought in 2 years. That's really out of their control. But yeah, let's move forward. Tyjani Beztadi, the young man. Again, I can't believe how young he is and how has been getting better. I feel like we've been seeing him fight for years. He looked everything like a world champion in this fight. He looked dominant. He looked fast. He took the openings when they were there. He set traps. Everything about this fight was great. It was so good. Josh Johnsy hasn't fought in kickboxing since, I believe, a couple of years, but he did take a boxing fight. And I think we saw some of that in this because he was taking some really deep steps in, and that was costing him because Beztadi was kicking that heavy lead leg out. You're not supposed to lean on your lead leg when someone can kick it out. This is why. What did you think of this matchup?
Yeah, man, like this fight, I was kind of really shocked about like just the way how it went down. Like I really want to say I thought it would have been a little more competitive, like kind of like the first fight. But man, to me, man, Josh Johnsy was outclassed in this one, man. Like he to me, he didn't have anything for the champ. I thought Beztadi just kind of owned him, man. Like say he was in that inside sweep. Like every time he would fall down, and trip him. Like I was actually kind of worried that, man, this fight was going to be over by like DQ and Josh Johnsy was going to win it that way, because every time Johnsy would go to the ground, you saw Beztadi was kind of load up for a kick. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You see him on his knees. What are you doing, guy? But like Sam, I really thought, and then boom, and when he finally caught him in the second round, I was like, oh, it's about to be over, because it was coming, and like he stayed on him. And then boom, just dropped him, man. It was beautiful, man. Onslaught.
And you know what? And that punch, it didn't feel like that came out of nowhere. When it landed, we all went, yeah, that makes sense. Like that is the next logical step in this fight. Is Beztadi was so far ahead in this fight. And he said before the fight, like I've gotten better since the first time we fought. And he needs to be ready for that. Because like you said, their first fight was close. They went to war against each other and it was a ton of fun. This fight wasn't close.
Yeah.
This was beating him from pillar to post. Josh Johnsy from Canada, he spent his life in combat sports. Like since he was in high school, 15, 16 years old, he's been in kickboxing and he's done some MMA here and there. I don't know. What do you do he's still quite young, but what's next for a Josh Johnsy?
I mean, really, man, we got to find out who's next for the champ. Because the thing is too, man, like this lightweight division, like again, we've talked about this, like saying we know, pandemic and everything like that, but saying a lot of these guys haven't been fighting. Like there's a lot of guys who've been on ice. Like you see somebody like a Luke Wheelan. I think he's number 2 in their division, but I don't even remember when was the last time he fought.
I know, and it's not his fault. Like if there were fights available, they would have accepted. There just hasn't been any fights available for reasons.
And then I mean we see Garrick Boulet has been on a tear, but I mean he's ranked 5th in the division. I don't know if he really would be next for the champ. I mean, and then there's Gershon. He was on a tear before I think he took the loss, but then he bounced back. He's somebody who I think they're high on as well, but he's ranked 6. Like to me, man, if I'm Josh Johnsy, I maybe take a step back and you can go to somebody kind of lower in the rankings. Like maybe number 7, Nick Chastain. Which, hey, just letting you know, Glory, I would still take that fight against Nick Chastain. I know you guys wanted it to happen back in the day in Chicago, and I was unable to do it. But hey, me and him, we still had some words a little bit on social media. But
let's get it. Let's light it up, Nick Chastain.
I'll still take care of business with that guy if you want me to. Just saying, if you need a guy, But yeah. But I mean, or like I said, but Josh Johnson, or maybe number 10. I mean, not number 10, number 9. Bruno, was it Gonzani? From Brazil. That's what I think. I think for Josh Johnson, maybe go back, hit somebody in the top 10, maybe number 10, number 9. Start out slow, get your groove back. And then for his Beztadi, I think he's just waiting for maybe somebody in the lightweight division to have a fight, because to me you can't give it to like to me the only person in the lightweight division who's been active is Garrick Boulet, but like I said, he's ranked number 5. You're gonna give it really to the number 5 guy? Like I know Glory's rules, or at least it used to be where it used to be. I think they would give a title shot to the person who was in the top 3, so 1, 2, or 3 could get it. And right now, like I said, number 2 is Luke Wheelan, but then he hasn't fought. And then number 3 is what's his name? Stoyan. Yeah, Stoyan. Yeah. So
what we need, like a lot of this stuff, it's like we're untangling a knot, but the solution to that knot is hosting more fights. Like these guys just need to get in there, and we need to see a top contender because he didn't take any damage. He could fight later this same year, probably wants to fight earlier next year, but we need get these boys moving. You know what I mean? Belay was the last guy to get a win. He beat Nordine Ben Mo, which, disappointed you and I. We had high hopes for Nordine. He'd be fresh blood to the division. Yep. But yeah, we need a top contender, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's what all of them are doing. All the champs, they're all waiting for somebody. I mean, the light heavyweight champion does have a title contender, but he's not trying to fight him right now. Tavares don't want to take the fight, so who knows what's going on with Vahitov and everything like that. And then same thing, heavyweight. We do have a contender, but we just don't know when that fight's gonna happen with the champ. There's a lot of things going on. I mean. I know Tiffany Van Soos probably wants to fight again, but again, there's nobody. The other ladies have been fighting,
she's just gonna fight like Aline a bunch more times because there's nobody else there.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like since Aline lost, I don't think she's taken a fight just because there hasn't been any fights offered to her. There's been nothing.
I've just seen videos of her training. That's it. Glory Brazil on Twitter, man, they do a good job of showing people training. So
yeah, they actually talk to us on like Big Glory Instagram, that never says anything to me. But yeah, Glory Brazil, Glory France, Glory Thailand, they'll chat with you. They're nice people. It's probably the same guy I'm talking to, but still. But yeah, that's the thing of all these problems of like who's next for these champions. Well, let's host some fights. We want to see some fights there, and there's nothing.
That's what I thought. Glory Rivals would be good for them. But
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Because that was gonna be where I remember somebody had put it out like a layout for Glory, the way how it would be good, and I'd be like, oh, I would be down for that. Where it would be Glory does an event every 2 months, and they do a Glory Rivals show every month.
Perfect. So you're constantly moving the undercards are constantly moving, constantly getting fights, and then you have your really big shows to promote the really big names and the people who are making it up. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I don't know. I have no problem with that. There's no pandemic issues right now. That's a great idea. I'm super into that.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'll phone them up.
Hey, let them know.
We also had Infusion 106, and this was buck wild. So we had the Bantamweight Grand Prix, and I'll set the stage here. So it starts off 4 guys. Mohamed Simsek gets a round 2 knockout to get into the final. Matthew Dahlman then fights full time. He gets a decision win to get into the final. So then in the final, you have Dahlman versus Simsek. And we were kind of talking like, this is Simsek. This is a Simsek all day.
Yep.
Matthew Dahlman gets knocked down. We're like, yeah, that makes sense. Round 1, whatever. Matthew Dahlman then comes back and wins this fight via head kick knockout 1 minute into round 1. It was a 1 minute war into this fight. Infusion 106 was awesome. What do you think of the matchup? What do you think of the Grand Prix? Tell me everything.
This was Bader versus Warzik 1 right here. Homie, Simsek came out, dropped him not once but twice. He dropped him twice. He needed one more time, and it was head kick, boom, face down this time. But this one was more out. This one was face down. You knew he was out. He wasn't getting up, and it was over. And ooh-wee, man. But then, of course, again, another Bader versus Warzik similarity. There was also another riot out there. You saw some fans out there, man. There was a fire in the crowd. I'm like, what is going on over here? And these were Turkish fans. These weren't Moroccans. The guy was from Turkey. I was like, what is going on?
Man, there wasn't even that many people in the audience. How many? There was probably like less than 1,000 people in this room, right?
Yeah, I'm saying, man, and you could see the fire on TV. Like you could see the crowd. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a fire over there in the crowd. And the dudes are just chilling in the ring. Like I think he looked over the guy who won. I think he saw it, but then next thing you know, he looked to his left, and I think he looked at like his cornerman and like dapped him up. It was like, oh, all right, just a fire going on. No big deal.
What the hell's going on? This is insane. Man, kickboxing, I remember when I moved here and I talked to people of like, I'm going to a rugby game. Will I be okay? And everyone's like, yeah, you're not going to a soccer game. Soccer games are where we have riots. Rugby's fine. And now kickboxing's like, oh yeah, we have all of our riots at kickboxing events.
I was telling man, yo, there's some passionate combat fans over here for kickboxing, and I don't know what's going on because I was shocked too. I was like, all right, he's not Moroccan, because a lot of people always like to give the Moroccan fans a bad name, but I'm like, yeah, this dude's Turkey. I'm like, okay, Turkish fans respectful. Nah, man, they do got dropped. They were like, oh, we burning this place up.
Just insane, man. What an insane sport we have here of like.
But going back to the fight, man. I mean, a lot of heart. Saying to come back, like I said, man, he was down to, all he needed was to get knocked down one more, kept his composure, boom, head kick, took care of business.
Absolutely love it. It's a super cool fight. You can find it. You can find the whole 1 minute on Twitter. I think Infusion, the whole event's probably on YouTube. In the co-main event, you had Muhammad Tushasi against Hamid Rezay. Tushasi took no damage in this fight. He got a round 1 knockout 1 minute into the fight. So Muhammad Tushasi is out here. He's not damaged. I think he's in shape. I think if someone wants to fight him, he's ready to go. Am I wrong?
No, man. Dude, this fight, like that. I mean, I want to say he fought on the last Infusion as well. Like that's how he gets down. Like he gets in, takes care of business, gets out in the first round, no damage. He's like, hey, you know what? I'll fight on the next show, because that's what I want to say. I want to say he definitely was on Infusion 105. He came out and did the same thing. He got a first round knockout, and like he comes out guns blazing, man. And I think I want to say, is he too Turkish or is he Moroccan?
Moroccan. So Muhammad Tushasi, this has been his schedule for a little while. 2020 to now, he's fought Infusion Cage Events 3, Infusion 100, Infusion Cage Events 6, Infusion 104, Infusion 105, Infusion 106. This guy's too busy.
Exactly. And he's a welterweight. He's in Infusion. I wouldn't be surprised if you start saying, like, oh, hey, I'm a glory fighter. Him, Amcha, Indy Similar, all those guys, man, banging it out at 170. They're trying to get that 77 kilogram division bumping in, soon. I think with Glory and Infusion. Same with this whole thing going on.
But that's something I forgot to talk about actually on the Glory vacant welterweight division. Hamicha's right there. I think he has a hand injury, so I don't know when he can get back in there. I did ask Andy Semler, and he's like, yeah, of course I want that title. 100% I want that title. I talked to him recently about the Glory Rivals 1 cancellation because he was on that event, and he said he has no idea what's going on. Like when if he was going to be rescheduled, if he's going somewhere else, or he's just going to be put on the shelf. He said he has no idea, but there is suddenly, like, we put this division on hold for the last little while since Dwambe left. This is really good. There's a lot of good fighters at the top of this welterweight division now. The lightweight champion, everyone keeps asking if he's moving up. He said he doesn't even get that big in between fights. He's not that big, is what he said. No, he said he's way too small. But which is very nice of someone just to be direct of like, no, I have no interest in that. I don't want to be a double champion.
I mean,
not big enough.
I mean, too. I want to say him and Josh Johnsy both weighed under 152. So they were 2 pounds under the weight limit, which is 70 kilos, but it's 154 in pounds. But if you're coming in pounds 152, you're 2 pounds under. I'm like, yeah, you're probably in the right weight class. Yeah,
I agree with you. These are proper size lightweights and so proper size 155ers, and they don't want to go any higher. Infusion 106, Muhammad Tushasi will probably be fighting Infusion 108 next. 107 is ready to go. But yeah, anything else on this card that you saw that you liked or that you want to talk about before we move forward?
Just the heavyweight fight. Like say, we were showing some love to the heavyweights on the Glory card. You got to show some love to Martin. I want to say it's Terpstra. He got a knockout in the first round. Came out, took care of business. Man, just like to me, like I said, man, not saying man, people are putting down the heavyweight division, but you get guys like this coming up. You saw in Glory, got guys coming up. To me, man, the glory division is still coming, but you just got to pay attention, because next these people are going to come on and then you're going to be like, oh, who is this person? Never heard of them. Hey, this is where you're finding them out.
Oh yeah, Infusion, like we talked about, they act like a feeder league, but this is where all the European talent is. This is the best kickboxers in Europe. Every organization, their big signing is always an Infusion fighter, because this is where the fighters are coming from. But let's move forward. This Friday, May 20th, One Championship is hosting 157, which will be 2 Muay Thai title fights in the main and co-main event, and the first round of the One Championship Muay Thai Grand Prix. Let's get into it. I say we start right from the top, from the main event, and take a look at these championship fights. So the One Muay Thai Featherweight Championship is going to be on the line with Pech Morakot fighting France's Jimmy Benoit. And you and I were actually already talking about this fight off the air. Jimmy Benoit It's certainly not coming out of nowhere. It will be his official one championship debut. But before this, he was a Lumpinee Stadium champion. He held other titles like WBC, WMC, and a few others. Of course, dozens around Europe. Pechmorakot, just a super champion, over 164 wins in his career. He was a Lumpinee Stadium champion as well. Massive deal. And he's also a great size fighter. This is a really good main event. What do you think of it? Who do you have in this one?
Definitely a good fight. I mean, definitely for a title fight, you got two good, talented fighters. I'm going with the challenger, man, the Frenchman, Jimmy Benoit. I'm going to be new. This could be my upset pick of the event right here. Reason being is because one, we did talk about this off air. Said he did fight in Glory a couple of times. But to me, man, when you come in on short notice and you take on Cedric Doumbé and you're able to take him to a decision. That kind of says that, hey, you're good. And also, remember, that fight was at 77 kilos or welterweight, while this fight is going to be at lightweight, 155 pounds. Yeah. So to me, he's coming down. So it means that he will have some size with him. So that's why I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with the Frenchman, and I'm going to be new. I think he might be too big, too strong, and we'll see what happens.
You brought up a really good point here that Pechmorakot is kind of known for being quite a good size fighter for his weight class. Jimmy Benoit's bigger than him. Jimmy Benoit will have a height and reach advantage coming into this fight. But I mean, I can't pick against Pechmorakot. I mean, you've been right in the past. The last Grand Prix, you were right on everything else in the past. So I'm going to, if you're right, you're right. But yeah, I can't pick against Pechmorakot. He sounds well aware of who Jimmy Benoit is as well. And he's taking him very seriously from interviews and things like this. But yeah, Pechmorakot all day long. But I'd love to see Pech back because he's absolutely awesome. But this is really opening up the division. I love this fight. Co-main event, we have the Muay Thai Strawweight Championship with Prajanchai in his only, I believe, second fight in one championship. He made his debut fighting Sam A for the Strawweight Championship title. He'll be fighting Italy's Joseph Nassiri, who we interviewed right here on Kickin It. Joseph Nassiri sounds like he was like, I don't even talk about my last titles. The only title that matters is this one championship title. He likes the small gloves. He feels comfortable in the small gloves. He had a first round knockout in his last fight. But yeah, Prajanchai is probably going to win this fight. He's almost at 400 wins, and I think that's just going to keep going in his career. I can't pick against him. He's more talented. He's the better Muay Thai striker, and I think we're going to see that in the co-main event at 157. What do you think?
I'm with you, man. I'm gonna go with the champ. Like I said, I know you interviewed Nassiri, but I guess in the interview when you were with Nassiri, didn't Nassiri say how he wanted to fight somebody else anyway?
Jonathan Haggerty.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I mean, he's not even thinking about the champ right now. You know. So that's why I'm thinking, that might get him caught. He's thinking about somebody else. He might get stopped.
Well, this is the thing with interviews. It's not about me. I'm trying to set these people up to say things for their career and set up next fights. I wanted him to call out the next contender in that weight class, but he's like, no, I'll change weight classes to fight Jonathan Haggerty. Okay, whatever. But I guess maybe if he loses this fight, that fight is probably still available. I don't know. That wasn't a close fight the first time they fought. I know he wants it back, but if you lose twice, you just look terrible. However, I think we both agree Prajanchai, and in interviews, Prajanchai has said I'm taking him seriously, but I don't have anything to worry about. He's almost rude about it, but I don't think he had anything to say. He's just like, man, I'm going to win this fight. I'm better than him.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the Grand Prix. We'll do one match at a time. We'll skip the alternate bouts. Those are okay. Savas, Michael versus Amir Naziri. This should be a fun one. Two kind of action fighters. What are your thoughts on this one? You have a Cyprus fighter versus an Iranian fighter. What do you think in this one here?
Wait, man, I missed it. I'm looking for it because I had it on what's the name.
I jumped to the bottom.
Wait, which fight was this again?
This is Savas Michael versus Amir Naziri.
Honestly, this one I really don't know. I want to say this is the fight where I'm like these are the guys that are going to go there, but they're gonna take an L eventually. You know, these guys are just like, yeah, we're here to collect a paycheck, maybe get our name known a little bit, and then it's gonna be lights out.
But yeah, so I'll take Michael then. I'll take Savas Michael. I think he's got more experience. He's been more impressive in his fights. But yeah, that's all I'll really say on that one. That's fair. Superlek versus Taiki Naito. I believe Taiki Naito is coming off of a knockout win in his last fight. Let me just quickly verify that. I might be misremembering that. No, he's coming off a split decision win against Petchdam. That's what it was. He is best known for his strong kicking power. He has been in martial arts since he was before he was even in school. He was in martial arts. He is a karate-based fighter who switched to kickboxing when he was in his teens, and he's going to be fighting Superlek. Superlek is coming in as a decorated champion out of Thailand with several hundred fights to his name already. He's a Lumpini Stadium champion as well. What do you see in this matchup? It's a good one.
So the last time we had Japan versus Thailand for a title, I went with Japan, and I was correct. Japan came up on top, had a new champion.
Yeah.
But this time I'm gonna go with Thailand. Superlek, so much experience. Like you said, decorated champion. Yeah. I think he's another name that they got out that they got out here and won, man. Just another person who can be a bona fide star for them. He's gonna come in there, take care of business, and move on.
And I really like Taiki Naito. He's he's a really fun fighter. He's not losing because I'm saying he's a bad fighter. I'm saying Superlek might win the entire tournament is what I'm kind of getting at here. Yeah. Like Superlek is the dark horse of the entire tournament that a lot of people aren't talking about just because he hasn't got the hard sell from one championship at this point. But he is a dang good fighter. He's coming in on a couple of fight win streak. He just had a title defense against Super Ball, just like 3 weeks ago or something insane like that. Like, man, this guy is fighting at the top level constantly. But yeah, Superlek may win the entire tournament. Moving to the next fight, Jonathan Agardy versus Walter. I believe it's pronounced Gonzalez. I kept saying Conclaves, but I believe it's Walter Gonzalez. Jonathan Agardy will have an advantage in height. He will have an advantage in reach. He has fought. Both of these guys have lost to Rodtang, and both of them actually had very good fights against Rodtang. What do you see in this matchup? What do you think?
I also would probably say Haggerty probably has the speed advantage as well because that dude is quick. So I'm going with Haggerty. Going to get a finish. Probably in the first round, maybe second, but I'm really going with the first round. I think he's going to be in and out, man. He's trying to make a statement, let people know that this is his division to take over. So I'm going with Haggerty, stoppage, first round.
Man, I feel a little bit bad for his Brazilian opponent because Liam Harrison was talking to South China Morning Post, and he was like, yeah, I think Haggerty has the easiest fight of the tournament. Haggerty, I spoke to him, just went live earlier today. But he kind of said the same thing. He was like, yeah, I think I'm one of the easier fights of the tournament, in all honesty. So I feel bad. Hopefully Walter wins because you love to see an underdog story. But there's not many paths that lead to that. That's a Haggerty win all day. Rodtang, he's coming in as the champion, and he's going to be fighting the British striker, Jacob Smith. Jacob Smith was scheduled to fight in one championship twice over the last 2 years. He was originally scheduled to fight Superlek, and then he was scheduled to fight Rodtang. Both fell out due to various reasons. Now he's finally making his one championship debut against Rodtang in this Muay Thai Grand Prix. Jacob Smith has been shown a ton of respect by Rodtang. Rodtang says, I know exactly who that guy is, and he's a very good fighter. I'm taking him 100% seriously. Jacob Smith is coming in. He says, I want to shock the world. I'm going to show who I truly am. No one knows who I am. I'm not getting any respect here. He sounds motivated. He sounds pumped up. What do you see in this fight?
I think it's going to be a banger of a fight. Honestly, I really do. But I'm going to give the edge to Rodtang. Like I said, man, like until you see, like to me, my thing is, man, you see somebody keep getting W's, you got to see until they get beaten. And I said, I think it's going to be a banger of a fight, but I just think Rodtang is going to get his hand raised. Saying this isn't a mixed match. I don't have to worry about him getting taken down and getting choked out or anything like that. No. So there's going to be, like I said, I think it's going to be two guys trying to bang. Actually, no, not trying to bang. They will bang because, like I said, Smith wants to shock the world. So, he's going to bring it. Rodtang always brings it. So, yeah. Like I said, I mean, this could be maybe your fight of the night right here. But I think Rodtang is going to get his hand raised.
Yeah, no, it's hard to pick against Rodtang, against anyone who's the same size as him, under the same rule set as him, because even though he's 23 years old, he's clearly in his physical prime. And and he's not going to lose to people because they're better than him. When he starts to lose to people, it's because he's an old man at age 28 or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, he's got at that age 23, 260 some victories already. And I like Daniel Smith a lot. He's a super fun guy, Jacob Smith. He's a super fun guy, super nice to talk to. And he was also saying in an interview with One Championship, like he got into this because he was running around the streets, like selling drugs and stuff like this. Muay Thai was my way out of poverty. Man, that's a great story, but you're debuting against Rodtang? What the hell? So either One Championship, they've tried to debut him against Superlek and Rodtang. They either really respect him or they really hate him. There's no in between there. It's one or the other. Who's your pick for winning the overall in this tournament?
Well, I'm going with a Haggerty Rodtang final.
That's a good final. That's a fun one. I can see that.
And I think I'm going to go with Haggerty, man. I'm just going to go with Haggerty, man. I think Haggerty's going to be the guy that's going to defeat Rodtang. Haggerty's going to make some noise. Why not, man? Let's go out on the edge, man. I think, man, Haggerty just has that speed. I think he does have the size to him, Rodtang. I think he's a little bit taller than Rodtang. Like, I just think I think the first fight they had, I think he'll learn his lessons and he'll come back just a little bit better.
Yeah, they had a close first fight. They didn't have a close second fight. But yeah, like you said, he does have a good size advantage as well against Rodtang. Yeah, it's tough to not see. You know what? I'll pick Superlek in the final. I'm going to say a Superlek Rodtang in the final. Fuck me up. That sounds fun. Oh, that's a good one right there. And I'll take Superlek as the upset. I'm down for Superlek. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's also a frustrating fighter to shut down aggression, which would work well against some of these guys, very action-packed like Haggerty and Rodtang and these types. But yeah, I'll take Superlek for the whole thing. So I'm glad that we're picking different guys here. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah. I'm just, yeah, man. And then plus two, and also remember, guys, there are other fights on there too on the prelims. You got Guto Inesech is fighting on the prelims. I mean, he got a nice fight against, was it Rezay Opachich? I don't even know how to say that, but I think it's Opachich would be my guess. But yes, it is a good one. That's a top ranked one at heavyweight. Yep. So like I said, I mean, you say, man, heavyweights, man, they are out here. And then was it Naoto versus I'm sorry, we were talking about that, the Superlek fight. Yep. That because that's on the prelims, that's why. And then of course our good friend David Kiri is back on there too fighting.
David Kiri is back fighting Mohamed Botasa in a kickboxing bout. Always love David Kiri. He's a fun fighter to see. What do you see in that kickboxing fight? Who do you have in that one? I think we're all picking Kiri, yeah? Yeah,
we're gonna go with Kiri, man. Like I said, I think he has the experience. He has the, he's been in the big fights. I think he wants to bounce back, off his last performance as well. And then of course, man, we have Wonder Girl Furtex back in there,
She is making her MMA debut as well, and her opponent Asha Roka had won a bunch of national level kickboxing tournaments in India, and now this is her second MMA fight. So it's essentially two world-class national level strikers in their discipline now fighting in MMA. So it should be a banger of a fight. It should be a good one, right?
Yeah, they're probably just going to keep it standing. They're just going to be rocking 4-ounce gloves.
She keeps posting pictures in her jiu-jitsu blue belt and like, nah, I'm just going to bang it out. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's usually what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, the one always puts on these good Muay Thai / kickboxing fights. So I'll definitely. Oh man, I think I will be able to look at some of it, but I'll be training also that day, so I might have to miss the main event or the main card fights.
Understandable. You've got training. You've got a fight coming up soon. How's everything feeling? How's everything progressing? Are you peaking at the right time and all that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I felt good. Like I said, I sparred last Friday. I felt real. I really felt the best I did I felt the best I did with sparring last Friday. So, like I said, we're about a little under 5 weeks away. So, it's time to start picking it up just a little bit more.
Awesome. Absolutely love to hear it. What else you got for us this week, or should we head on out of here?
Yeah, no, and just hey guys, just listen to Tim's interview with Haggerty that he just put out on Cap Kick Sports. Yeah. Also too, listen to our interview that he just did with Lasani, which you can find here on the Fighters First Network. And then also too, I don't know, Tim, don't you got an interview with somebody big coming out soon?
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything because it's not confirmed yet. So
yeah. All right.
Yeah, I won't say anything, but yeah, it's a big one, and I'm probably going to get in trouble based on what I think.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
But hey, guys, now I was gonna say, hey, just remember, guys, support the show. FighterFirst.shop. Buy the merch, represent the show, represent me, represent Tim. And that's it, man. Yo, guys, keep spreading the word, man. Like, subscribe, comment, man. We love it. We love interacting with you guys.
Absolutely awesome stuff. The #1 kickboxing podcast. Although there's some other good ones out there. Definitely listen to all the kickboxing podcasts from our other friends out there as well. Shout outs, folks. Make sure to check out the Fighters First Shop. They're keeping us alive. They're keeping us fed. Appreciate your time. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks.